Thank you for tuning in. My name is the original Dan Phelps, in case you are not aware. I am on a show called Shooting from the Hip Wrestling, which you can listen to by going to iTunes and searching for Shooting from the Hip, or you can go over to pwpop.com and check out our show and all the other wonderful shows that you can get throughout the week. In addition to that, we also have the latest news, headlines, and anything else you could possibly be looking for in the world of professional wrestling. pwpop.com, we make wrestling pop. Now, what you are here for today would probably be my interview with GFW owner Jeff Jarrett. I will be playing that for you shortly. If you would like to listen to everything involved with getting this interview set up, my thoughts on the interview, and anything that comes from the interview, please tune in Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central Time, pwpop.com/live. Make sure you like us on Facebook. Make sure you follow us on Twitter at pwpopcom. And thank you for listening. I really hope you enjoyed the interview. It was a blast. All right, everybody. I am here today with a man who definitely puts his money where his mouth is. 18 months ago, this man left a promotion, stepped down from a promotion that he created. The eyes of the wrestling world were on him as he set out to start another promotion. April of last year, he announced that he was starting Global Force Wrestling. And since then, he has scoured the world looking for talents and promotions to partner with. Coming up soon, he will be having his first tapings at the Orleans, Vegas, Friday, July 24th. He is also promoting the Grand Slam Tour, going around the country. We have listings for that on the site, pwpop.com. Ladies and gentlemen, the King of the Mountain, the Chosen One, Jeff Jarrett. How are you today, sir?
What an introduction, Dan. I appreciate your time today, and thanks for getting all the dates right in the Grand Slam Tour. Yes, I am very, very excited this time of year, and it's been a lot of fun. We've taken our time, and here Global Force Wrestling is just about ready to actually have their first event, and we're excited. We couldn't be more excited.
Well, we're all excited, to be honest. I've been following this very closely from the time that you left TNA up until the time that you announced it, the partnership with Toby Keith, and everything that came after that. It's been something that we've been talking about on our show a lot, because honestly, like I said, you put your money where your mouth is. A lot of people out there say things like, especially even back when you were starting TNA, a lot of people at that time were like, where are these guys going to work and where are they going to go? And instead of just resting on your laurels, you took the ball, you ran with it, and you started a company. And just something to get out of the way personally for a second, I actually went to quite a few of those early tapings in Nashville. I was living in St. Louis at the time, and me and my friends would drive, take the 7-hour drive to Nashville just to check out those pay-per-views. And it was honestly one of the most exciting experiences I've ever had with wrestling. It was just everything was new, and you never knew where things were going to go. And I guess my first question to you right now would be, what are you taking from that experience, from creating TNA? What mistakes did you learn, or what do you know now that is helping you start Global Force Wrestling?
Well, you know what? I remember those, and we refer to them as the Asylum Days, right there at the National Sports Arena every Wednesday night. A lot of fun. 2 hours of live programming is run and gun, and if things mess up or you have a mistake, you don't have time to really even think about it. You just got to keep blowing and going. A lot of fun during those times. But, over the years, not just my TNA days, but over my entire career, obviously my family's been in the promotion business for quite some time, dating back over 70 years. And, the world has changed, and so you sort of have to adapt with that. And that's why literally last April, I just wanted to come out with the name of the company, in that it takes a lot of time to create brand awareness. You got to do it step by step, and as my attorneys have told me, and I've said that on a few interviews lately, this is a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned that, because I've been explaining to people on the show recently, especially with all the stuff that like is coming out about TNA on Destination America and Ring of Honor and everything is that people ask why you announced it in April and then didn't start until now. But to me, wrestling's a whole different animal than so many businesses, because you look at television and in a board meeting, a show can be canceled and renewed within an hour. And, you know, but we don't hear that because there's not a bunch of rumor sites talking about, you know, the television show community. You know, the landscape has changed. I mean, now it's a much more competitive landscape than when you started TNA. You have Lucha Underground, you have TNA, you have Ring of Honor, WWE, NXT. Where do you see yourself fitting in here?
Dan, where you at? You there?
I'm here, yeah.
I felt like I lost you there for a second.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you perfect. Sorry about that.
Oh, no. What I was saying is that it's a much more competitive landscape now with things like Lucha Underground, TNA, Ring of Honor, WWE, NXT, all fighting for the same time. What are you going to do with GFW to stand out from the crowd?
Well, you know what? At the end of the day, and as I was just referring, that you got to create that brand awareness, and you got to do it step by step, and you got to have that patience. Well, on the flip side of that is that consumer, viewer, wrestling fan engagement. We're going to be very engaged, not daily but hourly, with our fans. And you know, you got so many social media platforms. You know, some people are on Twitter, some people are on Facebook, some people are on certain ones. You got to engage them all. And so that would be sort of something that it just doesn't go with professional wrestling. Every television show that's been successful now, whether it's The Voice or America's Got Talent or Game of Thrones or whatever it may be, there's a high level of viewer engagement. And so that's at the top of our priority. But as far as bell to bell, we want to put out the very best professional wrestling, very athletic, very competitive. You know, what WWE does, they're the leader in the marketplace, and what they do is sports entertainment, and they do it better than anybody else. We want to put out professional wrestling, and we want to connect fan bases from Mexico, from Japan, from Europe, from South Africa, from Australia. We want to connect the fan bases from all around the globe and really bring them under one umbrella, and that's what wrestling fans, because I am a wrestling fan, likes to do. They like to talk about their favorite wrestler from this promotion and that promotion, and that's what we're excited to do.
Yeah, it's such a different place. You were talking about, you know, exposing fans to other companies from other areas, and I remember back in like the 90s, you had to tape trade. You know, we had if we wanted to watch a New Japan show, or I mean, well, All Japan, we had to really, really work for it. Now people can just go on YouTube and look at this stuff. But also that leads into the area of, like we've heard Tommy Dreamer talking about recently with piracy and sharing stuff online. Is that something that concerns you right now, or what are you doing to combat that with your online strategy?
Well, and what specifically are you saying that would concern me?
Things like piracy, them, you know, stealing shows, that kind of stuff. Where Tommy Dreamer has been talking about recently that he had an iPay-per-view and more people stole it than actually ordered it. And
there's no doubt that happens with WrestleMania. It happened, I know for a fact, it happened in mass to New Japan Wrestle Kingdom 9. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in. That the music business has been hit harder by that piracy than certainly any other business that I know of. It is something that you have to strategize and figure out and move on, because you're just not going to stop piracy. Unfortunately, that's the way. That's the downside of technology, but there's a lot of upside to technology, and the fact that, you know, the fan bases could go online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and watch wrestling from literally all around the globe. Hop on YouTube, hop on WWE Network, hop on all the other platforms, and so that excites me about the interest in pro wrestling. You know, the downside. One of my guys talked about Wrestle Kingdom 9, about how many, you know, the BitTorrent sites and how they were theft. He said the downside is a lot of people stole it. The good side is a lot of people wanted to steal it. So you got to sort of take the good with the bad and figure out how you can strategize and progress and move through the piracy issues.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, you know, it's a totally different world now. Like we were trading tapes. I remember, you know, scouring to get like the best of Raven from ECW, and now you can go on any website in the world and find that. You know, I mentioned, okay, this is a good segue. I mentioned Raven. I was thinking back to the early days of TNA and how it seems like you have a very interesting eye for talent. you look at guys that people really just kind of cast aside, and you were able to take them and really make money. Like Raven was very successful with you as a face, which, you know, that's a big thing. Nobody could crack Raven as a face until he got to TNA. On top of that, R-Truth, Ron Killings at the time. And then I look at guys like James Storm, Chris Harris, guys that were just kind of wrestling around in the indies that you kind of took up, and now you look at James Storm. I personally think James Storm is a very missed opportunity in TNA. I sorry, you know, and I apologize, but I could have seen, like, when James Storm was getting his big run right before the whole Robert Roode thing, it almost looked like he was kind of being pushed as like a Southern Shawn Michaels type, and I could see him really breaking through. When you look at this roster that you have now, it's a very strong roster. Do you see anybody like that? Do you see anybody who you really think could break through to the top?
I think there's a lot of guys that, you know, we're just getting started. I wouldn't have anybody on this card had I not think that they've got a real shot. And that's one of the things, you know, people ask me, oh, I'm excited. What are you most excited for? Probably the thing I am most excited for is giving these guys a real opportunity. And I've said it over and over and over. I think the free agent roster, the free agent talent pool that's out there is as deep as it's ever been. And there are guys that Dan, quite frankly, me and you are talking today that probably we'll call them, maybe have lesser names than some of the established names. But this time next year, you're going to be saying, wow, that guy has really taken strides or come into his own or things like that. So, you know, when you have the Bullet Club, which is the hottest faction in all of wrestling, Gunn and Gallows, when you have different talent like that is truly established in the marketplace, and then you've got guys that are up and comers, it really makes for an exciting, fresh show.
Yeah, you're talking about the Bullet Club, and that is definitely one of the most exciting things going on in wrestling right now. And you have the Young Bucks, and you got Gallows and the Machine Gun there. Are you really? I'm sorry. Are you bringing the Bullet Club into GFW? Is that a thing? Is there going to be a Bullet Club in GFW? That's me as a fan asking that.
That's you, fan. Well, you know, I love their saying. You know, and I was fortunate enough last August to whop Tanahashi over there against an R and sort of come be the one in the suit in the Bullet Club. But Doc and Carl are on their first are on our first 4, 5, 6, 7 shows, and so you know they've got a strong presence. And they're going to be heading to Vegas. So, yeah, their saying is they do what they want, when they want, where they want. And I think that's pretty appropriate for those guys.
That's awesome. Okay, Bo, I know you don't have too much time, and we have a couple questions from listeners, if you don't mind me getting through this real quick. And if anything here you don't want to talk about, I'm fine with it. It's nothing really pushy. One of the things, though, that was interesting, I thought, was what are your thoughts on the Owen Hart documentary? I know WWE's pushing that pretty hard, and I know there's been some controversy about it. Are you more on the side of, you know, let sleeping dogs lie, or are you more on the side of fans want to see this stuff, so why not put it out there for them?
You know, remove the legal side, and I'm quite frankly, I'm not really completely in tune with everything going on with it. I've been consumed with Global Force Wrestling. So remove the legal side and maybe the controversial side. Owen was a dear friend and an incredible talent, and the fans who maybe hadn't had the chance to, you know, or sparingly see him on the network, I think it is a great opportunity for his fans to get a chance to see his peers to talk about him and be remembered in a real genuine, let Owen star shine even brighter because he was such an incredible talent in the ring.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I kind of agree with that too. It's one of those things where it's like, I understand where the family's coming from, but man, I really want that DVD, you know? Let's see. Another one that we got here is, do you think there's a place for a true Southern style wrestling company to emerge right now?
I'm not exactly sure what you would mean by Southern style.
Well, you look back into the old, like, Crockett days and, wrestling like that more so than the hard hitting kind of, like, serious storyline based wrestling as opposed to, kind of, I don't want to say silly, but more lighthearted sports entertainment type.
Well, I mean, sports entertainment is thriving and very successful. New Japan Pro Wrestling, I would call it the opposite of sports entertainment, is thriving and doing well. AAA out of Mexico, they just had the Lucha World Cup and had 22,000 people in the building. And so they've got their style of wrestling. I think there's independent shows all across the country. You referenced Tommy Dreamer's House of Hardcore, which is a hardcore style. It's different audience. It's all under one big, enormous professional wrestling / sports entertainment umbrella. But you have to find your fan base and grow it literally one fan at a time.
Okay. And I got one more question concerning Global Force and your recent kind of scouring the globe. When you were looking at promotions and talents, are there any out there that you weren't quite able to lock into a deal that really, really impressed you? Or even some that maybe, even the companies that you did lock into deals. What impressed you the most while you were out there looking?
Well, I mean, any organization that I reached as far as doing an alliance, we were successful at doing that. And we're going to continue to look and think and evaluate next steps. We've got a couple over in Europe that we're actually talking to. But, we want to tap into their fan bases. I like the style of wrestling. I keep going back to the pool of independent / free agent wrestlers is very deep. And that's where these guys cut their teeth. That's where they wrestle their early matches in their first year, their second year, and their third year, and some even their fourth or fifth. And then I'm excited to have them, get an opportunity to get on the Grand Slam tour for a shot or two, and then maybe potentially all eyes head to Vegas and get on an Orleans show. So I'm excited for that fact.
All right. Well, Jeff, thank you so much, Mr. Jarrett, for coming here today. Multi-time world champion. It's crazy to sit here and talk to you. You've been nothing but a pleasure. Everyone head over to globalforcewrestling.com. And if you are in any of the areas of the Grand Slam tour is coming, make sure you attend. I wish I was. I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. And then Friday, July 24th, like I said, tickets are on sale now. OrleansArena.com for the first tapings of Global Force Wrestling. Thank you very much for being here today, sir.
I appreciate you having me. And, I'll say this. I'm headed to Erie, Pennsylvania right now to throw out a first pitch. And like right before this call, I had a call with the street team. And if you want to sign up for that street team, it's at GFW Street Team on Twitter and at GFW Wrestling on all our social media platforms. Join the force. Come on out. We're really geared up for this summer's tour and couldn't be excited. And Dan, I appreciate you having me on today, and let's do it again sometime soon.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. You have a good day.
Thank you.